I blame for this coronavirus thing?
Who?
Carol Baskin.
Hey there, cool cats and kittens, and welcome back to Would John Rather. I say welcome back, but you've probably not gone anywhere, have you? We've not. I'm in day 12 of isolation.
I've lost count of the days. I feel like that guy on that island with the Wilson ball.
Castaway, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, thanks.
How's isolation going for both of the Johns then? Just slowly going mad?
I'm making the best of it.
How many pillow forts have you made?
Not pillow forts, but I made a fort with a table.
You had a fight with a table? You do like fighting.
I've always said that.
You have always said that.
Um,
The cats just ran at me. That was really intimidating.
Your cats are just overgrown dust bunnies, aren't they? With eyes.
Oh yeah, totally. But when they come storming at you, one chasing the other, it is unnerving.
Conga line of fluff.
Yeah. When we're doing stuff, they're quite happy to try and sleep and look at you as if to say, "The fuck are you doing? I'm trying to sleep." And the moment I try to sleep or do anything, they're like, "Hey, parkour."
Nice.
So anyway, in the vein of quarantine, would you rather be trapped in a lift with a couple vigorously making out or fighting?
I think I'd rather be the gooseberry and have them making out. Because if you're there long enough, they might invite you in.
Oh wow!
Just to put it out there, Matt didn't say it was a good-looking couple.
Well,
Yeah, he's
They
lost
could do
count of
3 in
days
the
in
morning drunk
isolation.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, if they were having a fight, at some point you're going to be drawn in, or you accidentally give your opinion, and then you're basically in the argument, and that's bad. That's negative feelings.
Any social interaction at this point is better than no social interaction at this point. So people asking for my thoughts and opinion is a welcome and refreshing thought.
That was a.
Anyway, I wouldn't want to cheat on my lovely wife, whereas yourself there, I'm not going to tell Kirsten. I'm sure she'll find out on her own accord, but there's plenty of lifts in your apartment block, isn't there?
Well, there's 2.
That's
2 more than I've got.
Exactly.
200% more than I've got.
And that's the 2 that you get in one, ride it to the bottom, and then get in the other one to ride to the top. And I imagine that's what you've been doing in isolation, waiting for a couple to get in, just fingers crossed to get yourself a hand shandy.
I've actually stopped using the lifts because I'm
you've
scared
going red raw from all the invites you've had.
No, I was gonna say I've stopped using them because I'm scared that they'll break down, and because everybody's been told to work from home, no engineers will come to help me.
All right. Nothing to do with the virus then.
That's a new level of paranoid. I quite like it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Whereas I just like to save the planet and not ride in lifts.
I'm not that bothered about getting the virus. I mean, now I've said that, fucking, I'll get the virus and die. But statistically,
I'll look
I'm
after
probably
your
unlikely.
wife.
I'm unlikely to die from it, and since I'm sort of confined to being at home anyway, I'm not going to pass it on to my grandma, and that's pretty much all I care about. So if I get it, great, because then I can, hopefully they'll introduce a system once they've got a check to see whether you've had it or not. I'll get my papers to say, yep, you've had it, you're immune, you can go outside now.
And the rest of us will go into camps where it says, work will set you free. Or not, Anyway, that's an argument for another day, isn't it? Whereas an arguing couple, I think my mitigation skills are pretty good. I've been arguing with people uselessly for years, haven't I, guys?
Yeah. Underline and in bold, uselessly.
Exactly.
You do have the record currently of the most wins on this podcast.
At the moment, but I'm afraid it's slipping, which is terrifying me. So I think I need to bring my A game back. I think 1 beer and 1 coffee, John needs to make a return. Perfect amount, feisty, yet focused. But as right now, it's 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday? Not today.
Why don't you have an Irish coffee?
Because it ruins coffee. I've tried it and it just ruins coffee.
See, I don't like coffee, so I can only imagine it makes it better.
No, but if you like coffee, I like coffee for being coffee. I don't like coffee for like burning at the end. It's not. It doesn't work for me. But anyway, I might try
But
like
coffee
using
burns at the
Baileys
end
instead.
anyway. It's a hot
No, it
drink.
doesn't.
It's a hot, bitter thing, like older wives in bed.
Like Liverpool supporters when they fail to reach the end of the Premiership because it gets cancelled.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
I feel very sorry for you in your locale.
No. It's amazing because every year, I'm sure even like John, you don't really follow football as far as I'm aware. I'll take that as a no. But brought up as a Man United fan, every year at Christmas, it's the same with all of the Liverpool fans. And every year at Christmas, they're going, "This is our year. This is our year.
The season
this
only
is our
starts
year."
in January.
And then every year, nothing comes of it. So this year at Christmas, there was a lot of Liverpool fans where I worked. So I went, I've fucking had enough of this. So I went on a gambling app that I've got, and I put £10 on Liverpool to not win a major trophy this year. Now, I didn't do my research beforehand, and it turns out they were doing extremely well. However, and basically it was impossible for them to lose. Not impossible, but highly improbable. So I put a tenner on, and they don't do stupid odds anymore since was it Leicester that won the Prem 2 years ago or whatever?
5,000 to 1.
Yes.
So
it was only 10 to 1 or 11 to 1, whatever it was. But
Really?
since then, they've been knocked out of every major cup, and now they're 2 games away from winning the Premiership, and they might be
They might just cancel the Premier League.
So if that happens, I've just won £100 based on me basically being a dick. Which
that would be incredible.
It would be the best bet that I've ever won.
And if you weren't argumentative, that wouldn't have happened.
Exactly, that was down to me being hot and bitter. Oh, your analogy made sense.
Worrying, isn't it, when someone can bring a new light to a subject?
Yeah, and I was all prepared to disagree with you about John wins. It was very good. If I was fighting with my partner in a lift, I was thinking that you'd get involved and just antagonise, because I would just poke the bear. I go,
I love diffusing situations. I worked in customer service. I'm very good at it.
Oh yeah, so I'm very good at it. It doesn't mean I'd do it. That's the less fun option. But you've proved it to me. Whereas I don't believe for a second that John would try and just be in a lift with a couple that are making out. It breaks down and he goes, "Want to turn this into a party?" and just starts unbuttoning his shirt. Like, I don't see a world where that exists.
We need to repopulate this lift. The end of the world is upon us. We need to repopulate this 6x6 cube right now.
And the 2 blokes that are making out turn and look at him as if to go, "What?" Yeah, that's right. I made it gay, John. What are you going to do about it in your imaginary lift?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
You started paying attention once you...
To try anything once.
Try anything twice, you know.
You just might not have liked it the first time. You know,
normally I apply that to food, but
I mean anything that goes in your mouth, I guess. Well, this is a nice segue onto my suggestion of the week. Why?
Try.
No, but it does involve me. Why, when everyone was bulk buying, was everybody bulk buying fresh fucking meat? I don't get it. Everything
Freeze
that you
it?
can buy, yeah, but everything that you can buy fresh, you can buy already frozen that you can cook from frozen anyway. And let's be honest, fresh meat after it's been frozen and defrosted just isn't as good. Whereas there's actual products that you can buy frozen that are designed to be cooked from frozen that actually are quite nice. Trust me, I live on freezer food. And so there's just something about... Fair enough, like joints, I get it. They are probably just as good because you roast them for a long time. But all like your chicken and your mince and stuff like that, it's just not the same from frozen. It's not as good. And if we're in it for the long haul, why buy... Like people that were bulk buying milk. It's only going to last 5 days.
See, I think there was an element of people bulk buying. But I also think that...
All the elements. They were bulk
no.
buying fire, wind and earth.
There were people definitely being completely ridiculous, and I witnessed some of that. However, I think there is also the issue that supermarkets generally work on the sort of just in time arrivals business model where they only stock exactly as much as they think they're going to sell.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
because
people,
otherwise you're going to order excess and you don't need it.
yeah, and because of
That's why you get your buy one
the
get one
high-
free, because something's arrived too early and you've not sold what's already there. So
yeah,
they put an
high
offer on
turnover.
it so they can get rid of it.
High turnover, exactly. So even if people were only buying, say, like 20% more because they were now having to buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner at home, whereas before they may have only been eating one, maybe two meals at home. It's a lot of extra food purchased that isn't necessarily stockpiling. It's just the supermarket's being caught out by that.
But, I mean, I don't believe certain pictures on the interwebs because, I mean, was it last year or the year before they were putting up pictures of Download Festival when it was super, like, rainy. And they were pictures from years ago. I think it was 2012 that they were putting up pictures of when it was really bad.
Classic.
And it's just like, so I'd take everything on the internet with a pinch of salt, as you should do. So I only believe what I've seen with my own two eyes. Now, this is my argument for the whole fresh meat thing. Fresh meat, all gone. You're saying you can freeze it, fine. Fresh fruit and veg, not sold out. All the pasta, gone. All the pasta sauces, not gone. Are people just eating pasta?
No, Ramsey Tesco's, all the pasta sauces are gone now.
Oh,
We need to buy a Lloyd's Grossman sauce because that was all that was left because it was like £2 a jar.
but you say now, so like they are starting to dwindle out in the supermarkets that I've been to a couple of times since all the bulk buying started. But
It's because
what were
people are buying
still...
nothing but pasta sauces because they bought 3 kilos of pasta every time they went in.
But they went out and they bought just chicken and just pasta, and then they went, oh, this is a bit dry. Like, it wasn't like they were buying veg and making their own pasta sauces. I don't believe anyone's that, like, I don't believe enough of the populace is that good at cooking anyway that they would just buy the cheap jars of sauce.
All the
But
veg
also
was also sold out at my supermarket. There was basically fuck all left at my supermarket.
Oh,
But
see,
then I live in a different location. Maybe it's just different.
people around my end don't eat fruit and veg. People around my end, they just eat medium rare chicken breasts and dry pasta. They don't even boil it first.
Did you have any smileys left, or were they all gone as well? And potato waffles.
There are loads of smileys, and they've been on offer recently. I've had nothing but
Did
smiley
you
faces
know-
for weeks.
Right, my recommendation of the week is read the back of the packet of potato waffles. Apparently, they're designed that you can put them in a toaster.
How did you not
and
know
cook them that
this?
way. Because I don't eat them.
When I
I
was
didn't
at,
know that.
when I was at uni it was either my second or third year, second year I think it was, I went through a little bit of where I decided I was going to try and eat breakfast because I had a lot of like early morning lectures with no big breaks in the middle. So I bought boxes of potato waffles on like the Sunday night or whenever it was. I'd cook loads of bacon and then I'd put it in the fridge. And then I'd get up in the morning, I'd go and put 2 waffles in the toaster. I'd chuck some of the cooked bacon in the microwave to warm it back through because it actually does come out like, I like my bacon anemic, not crispy, so it came out perfect for me. I'd go waffle, bacon, ketchup, another waffle, half wrap it in tin foil, and I'd eat it like a sandwich on the way into uni, and it was the best thing ever.
I'm finding it very difficult to argue with this on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that because
No.
it sounds like you're very passionate about it.
And also, it does sound delicious. I know it does because it was. And also, on the thing of waffles, I lived with a guy at uni, I think the year before I did this, who used to cook his waffles in a frying pan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said they were better. I took him at his word, but
It's not
Sounds like
how
a
I
lot of
would have
hard work.
opted.
No. Each their own.
anyway, so I guess that means my suggestion of the week is think about what you're buying before you buy it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway,
Next question.
next question.
Both good suggestions.
Okay, fair enough then. Nice simple
And if
one.
there is a national shortage of potato waffles, you can thank John Would Rather.
Yes. So
Sorry in advance.
perfect. We're leading everything into everything currently. So would you rather have mayo or ketchup?
Mayo.
Ketchup.
There's no question for me. I personally find ketchup too sweet. Obviously, I'm preaching to the wrong person here, but yeah, I don't really like it on food at all. Whereas
Right.
mayonnaise
What
goes
do you
with
have mayo
everything.
on?
Everything.
Such as?
Anything that ketchup goes on, mayonnaise does better.
Okay. So, a bacon roll.
Yeah, obviously.
No,
Oh.
wrong.
Why
It's
not? Okay,
Because
people
it's not the same.
always bring up a bacon sandwich when they have this argument, and they go, mayonnaise has got no place with bacon, and I point out to them, what if you have a BLT? Would you put ketchup on that? No, you'd put mayo on it, because mayo goes perfectly well with bacon.
But that's because it's already got tomato on it.
Yeah, you've already got the tomato quantity already sorted. Right, a hot dog.
Mayo goes perfectly fine with that as well.
No, it doesn't. Don't lie. Mayo
I
comes in
have-
jars with a spoon. You need to spoon it out. You don't do that. No,
It
you get
also-
your squirty
it goes in-
ketchup, and you do the zigzaggy line across the top of the
No,
hot
have
dog,
you- have
like
you
you've
not-
seen it on all the packets.
Have you not seen
Mayonnaise.
John? Have you not seen John make a hot dog? He takes the hot dog, he dips it in the jar of mayo, pulls it back out, and then puts it in the bun.
Mayonnaise actually comes in both a jar and in squirty tubes.
Oh, so you've
ketchup
joined
only
the 21st century.
Ketchup only comes in squirty tubes because it's very limited in the number of things that you put it on, whereas
Not really.
mayonnaise,
If you go to
need options.
Wetherspoons, they have glass bottle ketchup. How fancy is that?
I did always wonder, they do glass bottle ketchup, they don't do glass bottle mayonnaise, but mayonnaise comes in a jar. I would quite happily, but when you go to a nice restaurant and you ask for ketchup and they turn their nose up at you, they bring it out to you in a little ramekin with a spoon, which is no different to a jar without a lid. So why can ketchup not come in a jar, and why does mayonnaise not come in a glass bottle? Like, there's definitely something to do with the
I think
marketing
mayo
there.
is just that little bit too viscous. I just don't think mayonnaise is quite fluid enough to be able to come out of a narrow-necked bottle. Sorry. But yeah, you could get a whole huge jar of mayo, and you could also get a whole huge jar of ketchup. It would be the same thing. It would be fine. But I really strongly doubt you get mayonnaise in a narrow-necked bottle.
I mean, a narrow-necked glass jar is literally the worst vestibule for any kind of sauce. Everybody hates it.
Tell that to wine people. Tell that to people who drink wine.
No,
I
he's
mean,
in
that's just-
sauce.
Yeah, like everybody hates glass ketchup bottles
No,
because
they don't.
yeah, they do.
I'm
Because
going to buy one and I'm going to serve
get-
it to you when you come round
I've got-
because I'm going to
got-
show you how fucking fancy I am.
I've got no ketchup, no ketchup, no ketchup, no ketchup. Oh fuck, my whole plate's covered in ketchup.
Because you're an amateur, John. For someone who bangs on about how much food he eats, you're an amateur when it comes to ketchup.
Well,
I
don't
am
eat ketchup,
frankly
that's why.
disappointed.
I don't like ketchup. That's why.
Where,
I don't
where
want
do-
any. If you
So-
put ketchup on my food, I won't eat it.
Full English, John. What do you have on your full English?
Not ketchup.
Not mayo either, because you're some sort of weirdo if you have. You defile the full English with mayonnaise.
Black pudding, mayo, black pudding, like an Oreo.
Oh,
A congealed
wow.
blood Oreo.
well, blood. That's the original red sauce, isn't it?
Well, yes, but it's not ketchup.
This is
Okay.
very true. And where do
Mayonnaise
you,
is not vegan friendly.
where do you both sit?
Nor am
on,
I.
Where do you both sit on seafood sauce? Because that's just ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together.
What the Mary Rose sauce?
Yeah,
Right, there's a little bit of Tabasco in there as well, or a little bit of
Yeah.
Worcestershire sauce.
yeah, but
Just
There's
a
also-
direct rip off of burger sauce.
Also, don't eat seafood, so
Also,
it's
burger
never
sauce.
come up. Mayonnaise.
and ketchup and mustard and gherkins and lots of other stuff.
I think I could probably go without mayonnaise in my life.
I
Because
do go without.
There are some
ketchup.
sandwiches you think, yeah, mayo's nice on a sandwich occasionally, but what can mayo do that butter can't in a sandwich?
Taste good.
No, butter tastes good in a sandwich.
Not as good as mayo.
But there are certain things that mayonnaise cannot do that ketchup does.
Like what? Nothing. Nothing. I've just proven this to you. There is nothing
By
that
what?
ketchup can do. Well, literally, like everything you said,
You can't have
guarantee you-
mayonnaise. You cannot have mayonnaise on a full English. You cannot have mayonnaise in a,
Yes, you can.
on a zigzag squiggle across a
Of
hot
course you
dog. John.
can.
You cannot.
Of course you can.
You
I
cannot.
have.
No.
I do it all the time. Every time I have a hot dog, I put a squiggle of mayonnaise across it. Every time. Because I don't eat ketchup.
Mustard is a suitable alternative for ketchup on a hot dog. Mayonnaise is not, I'm afraid, John. I'm sorry to be really stonewalling you and outright anti you
Well,
right now.
well, funny enough, mustard mixes perfectly well with mayonnaise, actually. In fact, they sell it combined sometimes because it's a
Because
great
mayonnaise
combination.
isn't good enough. It's too anemic and boring by itself.
No, it's just a great combination. Whereas mustard and ketchup is not sold like that because ketchup is disgusting and mustard makes it worse.
No, you have mayo and ketchup on a hot dog. It's amazing. You get the double zag. The double zag. It looks like Lightning McQueen going into your mouth as you eat the hot dog. It's brilliant.
Nah, ketchup is just for kids and mayonnaise is what you have once you've grown up.
Mayonnaise is a good way to give yourself a heart attack. It's 90% oil, like 10% egg, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and ketchup's like 90% sugar.
You can get low sugar version.
But why would you want that?
Because it tastes as good as regular ketchup, whereas low-fat mayo is basically house paint.
Yeah, but
Don't even argue with me. You know this, John. You
No,
buy the good stuff because you look after yourself. You don't need to have to buy low-fat mayo. You know low-fat mayo is house paint.
I don't buy low-fat mayo. I buy...
Because you look after yourself and you respect your body. Yes, I'm not quite as fit and active as you, so occasionally I will buy reduced sugar ketchup, and it tastes just as good.
If John sat and
It's
ate
just not
one
always an offer.
full dessert spoon of regular mayonnaise, he would drop down dead there and then.
You need
Pre-dinner
my arteries
mayonnaise. It's good for you. Yeah, if there was...
Leave my arteries out of this, boys.
If you search YouTubes for regular Swedish mealtime, there's a well-known YouTube company that has videos about making dinner, and they always eat a spoonful of mayonnaise and say it's good for you afterwards.
It's weird you were saying. I was about to say there's some YouTubers that I watch that occasionally do like charity live streams, and they spin a wheel as to what game they're going to do next to entertain. And one of them's got a game called Is It Mayo? And it's basically this guy. He used to lecture in Cambridge University in theoretical physics. He has a PhD. And basically you blindfold someone and you feed them a spoonful of something and they have to guess if it's mayo or not. I've never seen it not be mayo. It's been mayo every time. So yeah, apparently
Clearly they respect just how good mayo is.
Or they're using it as a punishment.
I do like mayo, but having a whole spoon of it would be not as enjoyable as
No, it'd be extra
possibly a whole
enjoyable.
spoonful of ketchup.
No. Oh God.
I'm going to call it there. I don't really know which direction I'm going in. But...
Would I like one final
Yeah, go on
throwdown?
then. Have one final throwdown.
Go on, John, you first.
I don't think we need a further throwdown. I think I've already proven that mayonnaise goes with everything that ketchup goes with. It's got a nicer texture. It's not sweet like a child's food. It's good for the environment. It saves lives.
Wait. How is it good for the environment? You can't just say shit like that without any backing it up.
Oh no, this is the last hurrah. I don't have to back up anything.
All right. Ketchup cures cancer.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
mayonnaise has cured COVID-19.
I'd rather have a cancer cure so ketchup wins.
Oh,
Well, that made it easy for me. As you both know, I used to be a big fan of ketchup. I don't really eat ketchup anymore. In fact, I haven't bought ketchup for years. I'm a barbecue sauce boy now. But I would say what you mostly missed out on, you touched on it a bit, John, but was the application of mayo. Mayo by itself is very bland. I've seen how it's made. You were right, John. I think it's white wine vinegar, egg, mustard, like a teaspoon each of that, put into a big blender and then slowly add oil, and that will make you a litre of mayonnaise. Like, it's just like when you beat egg whites. So it really, really creeps me out. But the application of mayo, so you can have, like you said, honey mustard mayo, garlic
I was going to go on
mayonnaise.
to that. Like, you can have piri mayo, you can have chipotle mayo, and I was thinking if I go on to that, I'm going to give him too many
But this is my
many
point.
ways of beating me.
It's a base. I don't see it as a condiment because mayo by itself, it's not that I dislike it, I just don't think it adds anything. It's a bit like sour cream. to me.
Oh no, I love sour cream.
Yeah, but I wouldn't just sit there and eat sour cream. It's a very not taste. You add it to something else to like. The only time I've had sour cream was to take the spice away. My point is mayonnaise is a base, and my other point that I thought of, which I wasn't going to bring up, but ketchup is tomato sauce, and I can't imagine a world where you'd open a tin of baked beans mixed with mayonnaise instead of tomato sauce.
I mean, ketchup isn't the same as the tomato sauce that they put on beans, though.
No, but it is very similar.
No.
Well, if I was having a full English and I got a bit of ketchup in my beans, I wouldn't be fussed. If I got a bit of mayo in there, I wouldn't be sure. Well,
pre-dinner mayonnaise.
How many
Good
how
for
many
you.
songs have been, how many songs have been named after mayonnaise?
Not enough.
None. Can you remember the ketchup song?
I said
Yeah, it was fucking awful.
It
It was awful, just like ketchup.
Well,
But remember it. Not bland like mayo.
Mayo's not bland.
yeah, it is.
No, you just need to add loads of stuff to it to make it more interesting.
No, you just can.
That's why there's a blanket name for when you add something to mayonnaise, it becomes an aioli. That's how bland it is. You're like those people that are buying pasta and not mixing anything with it and just eating it plain. Right, final question then. Would you rather bake a cake or get baked and eat a cake?
You are aware that neither me or John have been high before, right?
Well, that'll make this more interesting.
I've
Alright.
always the idea, because I don't smoke, I don't like the idea of smoking, but if you gave me a brownie and said, John, if you eat that brownie, you'll be tripping balls, I'd be like, damn straight, and I'd just eat the brownie, because brownies are good.
You can get baked off of edibles.
But then if I've eaten edibles, then I won't want cake, because I already would have eaten
Now,
4 or 5 cakes.
I've never had edibles. Wink. But I can guarantee you that you will want more cake.
I'll just do that then. More cake is better than less cake.
I heard you like cake, so we gave you cake with your cake.
And for afterwards, you can have cake.
I'd rather bake a cake because I hear they're in demand now that you're high. And...
Not in my house, because I made like 12 cupcakes earlier today.
And I'll...
No, 24. That's 2 trays of 12.
24. 12 of them have got weed in.
And I'll sell my cakes that I make to the guy who's baked. Simples. Also, I'm a nice guy, so I'll do buy one, get one free.
Only because you don't be left with out-of-date ones at the end. You just can't be bothered to send them to landfill, you just want to palm them off on people. I know your game.
What sort of
Big
cake would you
corporate
eat?
job.
And what sort of cake would you bake?
You know what I'd eat the first cake I saw.
Which could
I'd
go
make
quite...
a chocolate fudge cake. That's the only type of cake, as far as I'm concerned.
I was thinking you could get John baked and then make a load of like angel cakes, but replace the icing with mayonnaise and see if he notices. Hey, I make bacon cake. Mayo cake can't be far off.
Earlier today, my wife made chocolate fudge cake with caramel butter icing.
Lovely.
And I'm yet to have one, but I did manage to stick my finger in the icing bowl and just finish with. The icing is gorgeous.
I actually baked the other day. I made a
Is that because there's nothing else to do?
Yeah. Basically, I just had a load of leftover stuff. I had to pop to the shop anyway. They didn't have any flour, so I had to use up whatever flour I had in the cupboard. But I just made a basic loaf. Well, I made 2 of them, and then made my own version of icing, which I just made up as I went along using melted white chocolate and milk and butter and icing sugar. And yeah, so it's just a big loaf with loads of chocolate, and it's really sweet.
I've got a question for you guys. You know when you make a sandwich, you go, oh, that's pretty good. If someone else makes your sandwich, it tastes better somehow, doesn't it? Because you've not had to put the work in to make it. It's just arrived and you've gone, yeah, this is good, this is great. But they could have made it no different to how you'd have made it. But because you didn't have to put any effort in, it just appeared. It tastes better. So I'm going with that theory. So if I just get given cake and I get to eat it, it's going to taste better and I'm going to appreciate it even more because I will be needing cake because I'll have the munchies. So it would taste even better because I'll be desperate for it. And someone else had made it and it'd be brilliant.
That someone else will have been me because I'm a lovely guy.
Cheers, John. I appreciate it in advance. I see no downside. I don't have to put any work. I don't have to do the washing up. I just sit and eat brownies until I can't eat any more brownies, and then I get the munchies for cake instead. And then everything will be funny.
As someone who's never had edibles before, you wouldn't want to sit and eat them until you can't eat them anymore, because as they quote in the Mighty Boosh, because then Satan will appear behind you and steal your eyes from the back of your head, or something like that.
I'd just have one very good brownie then. I'd have one good space cake.
Yeah,
then I have some very good normal cake.
Heard plenty of stories of people where they have like an edible and they're like, oh, nothing's happened, so they have like 3 more, and then as they're finishing like the third of the 3 more, it starts to hit them and they go, oh no. It's like apparently a much more intense version of, you know, when you're doing shots all night because it's not hitting you, and you have like your 10th and then you feel the first one hitting you, go, oh, I've made a huge mistake, and then you wake up in a ditch in Trent. Is Trent a place?
Trent's a river.
Yeah, in the River Trent. We'll go with that.
So I would do one space cake and take it, and then do all of John's cake.
And do all of John's cake.
It's getting dealt with. Do you remember that time in sixth form where I went to the cost cutter and bought a whole Battenberg because it was 18p and I ate it like a Mars bar?
I do.
I ate a whole Battenberg.
And that was when you weren't even high.
Just because I loved it. Yeah. I struggle to think of anyone who loves cake more than I do that I've met in person.
Well, I guess on that note then, I'm going to make John win, just because he seems to be really enjoying cake. And if there's one thing that I want my friends to do is not only enjoy something, but enjoy it even more. I was going to give it to making the cake, because that way you could keep him busy with eating the cake, but as he seemed to enjoy it more than you would making it for him, I think he has to win. And also now I just want to see John eat like 7 edibles.
Okay, when we're all 40, we're all going to Amsterdam.
Yeah, why not?
Norway was nice. Amsterdam sure is lovely this time of year. If we're allowed back out in the next 9 years.
It's not looking likely, is it?
Oh.
But at least you're back on your winning streak. That's 3-0 to you.
Oh, bloody hell.
Whoa! It's been a long time.
John had his whitewash. Now it's
That's it for me.
Now he can have his mayo chaser.
Oh, how weird is this? It's a random segue, I know, but I'm sure the listeners don't mind, because if they didn't like them, they wouldn't listen in the first place. So my mother was asking me, because I told her to watch Good Omens. She finished watching Good Omens, and she asked me, I'm thinking about watching The Witcher. Should I watch The Witcher? And I said, yeah. I said, it can get a bit confusing if you don't know sort of the ins and outs. I said, but give it a go, and if you get like lost, just stick with it, because it does all make sense. And she was like, okay. And I told her a bit of the history of it, because it was a book and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she went, what should I watch after that? So I suggested to her to watch Atypical. I explained what it was about. I said, it's one of my favourite shows on Netflix. And she went, oh, that reminds me of a book that I'm reading. I instantly knew what book she was reading. I didn't say anything. She continued to tell me. What was it called again, John? That you suggested to me to read?
Thingy's Completely Fine.
Emily Oliphant is Totally Fine.
That's the one.
Yeah. Which you suggested to me after I told you to watch Atypical. So which is why I knew as soon as my mum said it. And I went, I'm reading that. And she went, are you? I said, yeah. I said, I got probably 100 pages or so in a while ago. I said, I haven't carried on reading because I just haven't read in a long time. And she went, oh, well, I'm only about that far into it. So now me and my mother are reading the same book, which
amazing.
You suggested to me. Someone bought it for her like a year or so ago, and she's decided that she's just going to try and work through all the books that she's got. And she was like, it's bizarre. She went, good, but bizarre. And then when I told her you suggested to me, she went, I wouldn't have had it down to be a boy book. Mind you, you can't say things like that anymore. So, yeah. There is, like I said, I'm not very far in it, but for the listeners and John who have no idea what we're talking about, it's basically a story about quite a strange lady, and you don't really understand what's going on to start with. But very early on is a chapter that is just very, vivid in her going to get all of herself waxed. And she asks for a Hollywood but doesn't understand what a Hollywood wax is, and then screams at the waxer, you've made me look like a child. So, Yeah.
They never. I think it's quite the protagonist in the book clearly has some form of learning disability or something like that, but it's never actually specifically said what or if she does. She's just.
Yeah, I mean, don't ruin it for me because I'm still going, and I'm not very far in, so I don't think this is spoilers for anyone who's thinking about reading it. But it kind of touches on trauma, and she does act quite odd sometimes. But I did think to myself, I bet they never actually explain what's going on. I feel like that's the point of the book, but we'll see. I will finish it. I mean, I've got time on my hands.
We do now.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice cultural end to the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some book recommendations for people to read during the ongoing crisis.
So I think, genuinely, get high, go and eat a mayonnaise cake and read a book. That is the suggestions of these two Johns, but not from me. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
When we're still trapped, still not allowed to leave. Send help.
Nothing means something. Will somebody do it?